Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, look at my face, pay me respect. Please do not play with my line. If you want taste, what you gon' get? Shit that gon' bury your mind. All as at stake, where is my check? Need every nickel and dime. You play with my race, put you in check. To stop a division and climb. They mad that these niggas done woke up and now all our visions to go. Where is the bag to get us so caught up? Yeah, that is the mission and goal. Staying on cold. Some of y'all doing too much. Straight up be looking like hoes. Never gonna grow. Can't count on you in clutch. Most of y'all doing the most. Like this is a show. Doing it for entertainment. Or you're doing it for doubt. Or you're doing it to sit at the table with crackers for words in your mouth. I don't play with enslavement. These are the days of the South. These days we play differently. This is what black empowerment's about. Wait, I said there's no time for no friends. Either you with us against us, don't switch it, cause one of us die in the end. Hey, I'm keeping my eye on the lens. Watching the ops despising the picture cause they wanna see the white end. Hey, caution, wait, these do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my life. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my life. I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution.
Hold on, wait. See a black man doing great with black-owned businesses, building in a different state. Why you snakes wait late in the grass, plotting on what you can take? Black money in the black bank, mean black money is safe, protected, like it's heavily protected. If he ever feels threatened, then he go a lead and knock him off his check. Please check this. For the record, he can never be weak. Disrespecting any checking your cheek. Reppin' said he reppin' red, black, and green. Never fall, won't break. There's no limit to what I do for mine. But your soul, they don't take them up with the anger and hate up all of my ancestors combined. You wanna get one time? I keep it fully loaded, extended in the fully auto effing to keep you from crossing that gun line. You in violation. I ain't never shot a caveman. You be the first, I'ma give you this work. You get in the way of my occupation, yeah. Like I'm the boss and I don't like the way that you talking. This is my office, get permission before you walk in. The yellow tape across the door means caution.
Wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my life. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my life. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution.
Edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, and your brother Ashe as Jay will be joining us shortly, along with our weekly correspondents, Sister Marcia and brother Blacksmith, coming in with the 1-2-1-2-1-2. We were off for a week. I think my brother Tad almost got it worked out in the background. He ready to go. Let's get it in because we got a lot to discuss. We were off last week. You know, Sister Keisha was feeling real bad, and to be honest, I'm still not at 100%. So we're going to see how this work out tonight. Hopefully my lungs would allow me to continue on with this program tonight. We'll see how it work out. Brother Tad, how you been? What's good?
Feeling good, sis. I'm feeling good. At least you don't look how you feel, because you look great, sis. You look great. Still killing the fedoras and all that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I guess the mask is working because I'm telling you, I'm definitely not at 100%. But I said we got to come on tonight because so much has happened in these internet streets and these entertainment streets and these political streets, you know, and we have to get into the thick of it. Unfortunately, we have to deal with these topics. So tonight, I said we got to come back on, and I'll see how, you know, the ancestors could let me rock tonight. We gonna see. But brother Tad, you know, Light is being shed on the genre known as hip hop or rap music today. Not just hip hop, but just the Gen X entertainers, I should say, because it's also in the acting world too, and the political realm. That people are catching a blow, blah, blow for unsavory behaviors. Now, here on Thorough Black Talk, we don't just go for people who running loose with the lips. We go find documents. We find information, um, tangible information that we can use and discuss. And I can tell you some of these court filings are looking real bad for a lot of people out here. But there are some in these internet streets that are saying it's about time for people to be put on Front Street for bad behavior. So we'll get into that as well. We want to hear y'all input and perspective on these things as well. And then we're going to take a look back at ourselves at this particular time when this genre was on its rise. So we're going to take a look at ourselves as well as we go through this. We throw it back here. We throw it back on Thorough Back Talk. It is what we do. Excuse me, don't make me laugh. That's gonna get me in trouble. But
Ain't nothing yet.
he's a bad hombre. He is a bad hombre. But we got to get into it. And also too, not just our perspectives as we look back, but also we're gonna look through history. Right now you have some historians and economists looking at various points in history, doing the 80-year turn, the 80-year in the 20-year turnings, I believe it's called. But we're going to look at that as well. But we're going to look at where we were at these particular times in history and try to get a forecast of what 2024 is going to look like for us. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox, my brother. I don't even know if I asked you how was your week this far.
Oh man, my week. You know what? My week has been great. I've been having a great week. Yo, shout out to our brother Q Butter. I spoke to him earlier today. This weekend, he's having a science fair for Ziax Institute. For his Ziax Institute, he is having a science fair this Sunday from 2 to 9, I believe it is. From 2 to 7 or 2 to 9 p.m. at Restoration Plaza, Brooklyn, New York. Just a couple of doors down from Nicholas Bookstore. Shout out to them. So, yeah, I gave him a call before we got online to see if he could just drop in real quick and promote his event. But I'm definitely pulling up to the Brother Q Butter Science Fair this weekend. That was dope. Then, of course, spending time with the family is always fly. This Sunday that passed, me and my granddaughter Zuri, shout out to Zuri Cakes. That's what I call her. Because I got the sweetest little granddaughter, man. Love that girl to life. We ran our first 5K together this weekend. That was dope. She's like, Grandpa, I'm an athlete. I said, I see, baby. Said, so you going to be out there riding your bike for 40 miles with Grandpa? She said, I don't know about that. I said, nah, you're an athlete, baby. Grandpa got you. So, I was real excited about that. Of course, Sister Keisha, no good deed goes unpunished. We are in the space of the Urugu. So children were misgendered and things were, I was like, wow. Like, it's just different space and time that we in, and I'm not ready for it. And I don't think I ever will be. As you said, a lot of skirts and veils are being lifted in the politics and arts, entertainment, all over the place. And it's a good thing. Lets me know I'm not crazy. I know I'm human. I know I'm not perfect. Everybody make mistakes, but some of these things these people are doing, I ain't with it. Shout out to Hassan Campbell who went back. Because when we talk about sexual deviance around the place, man, a lot of people got to own their stuff, man. A lot of people really got to own it. because some of these people have been sexually abused, and we will not minimize that whatsoever. However, some people are willing participants, and they got to own that part too. Just because you got your cheeks clapped and didn't get what you bargained for, don't mean you abused. It means you sold your soul and whole and just felt you got the short end of the stick or the long end. I don't know. I wasn't there, but yeah, a lot of that fun boy stuff going on. Shout out to pt2. Take that.
Yeah, he take that all right.
Yeah, my week has been good. You know, with all that's going on. And this is one thing I always tell people. If we're gonna tell the story, tell it right and tell it honestly. Because you kind of you compromise the integrity when you don't tell the full story or you put the slant on it. You know, I seen a picture of a young lady sitting on Puff's lap who was supposed to be 17 at the time back then. Okay, we know there's a lot of groupies out here, and this is no justification and nor defense. However, some of these people, we have to look at their claims because some people want money while other people want justice. You know, the victims of Sucker Polite wanted justice. They didn't want money. He offered them money. And he's like, no, we don't want no settlement. We want you behind bars. That's what people who are victimized should be looking for. Other people are just out here looking for paydays. So we got to question people's motives too. Because you either want this dude off the chessboard or you want to keep playing with him. But I'm going to step back. Shout out to Sister Farnessa. I'm not starting yet, sis. I'm not starting yet. I'm just warming up.
He's starting. You got it right, sis. He's starting already.
Nah,
don't let him swerve you with the words now. You got it right. He's starting already.
Look, I'll just like to swing first. I'm sorry. That's just who I am.
Shout out to Brother Peace. Talked to Brother Peace yesterday.
Yeah,
good chopping it up with the big brother all the time. Of course. Shout out to Sister Donna. Yes, feel better. Something is going around. I mean, my grandson was sick. Some friends of mine are sick. We don't even live in the same house. We don't even live in the same borough. So something is definitely going around, and you know, quite a few people that I know also dealing with this bug. So you know, everybody take care of yourself, and you know, do what you do to keep yourself healthy. You know, I got my blackberry and hibiscus cold brew tea right here.
Get the jab, you feel better.
Shut up, Tad. Tad is bad. All right, I'm trying to tell y'all. But anyway, family, as Brother Tad, you know, mentioned earlier, there is so much confusion that's going on around, and you know, it's hard when you're trying to educate not only yourself but your family on the shenanigans that are taking place. You know, you're fighting a system. You're just not fighting an ideology, but a system that is geared on dominating you. And you have to understand the science of domination. Oftentimes, we don't know the science of domination. And that's why we're under everybody's foot around the world. That's one discipline we must study. And we'll get into that a little bit later. You know, we're going to throw it back to our elders, you know, give you the 1-2. But in light of, you know, Brother Tad's commentary, check this out and we'll come back and we'll discuss it. And I want to know y'all feelings on this. Here we go.
Colorado girl was assigned to share a bed with a boy who identifies as a transgender girl while on a cross-country school trip. The girl was terrified, as you can imagine, called her mother for help. That girl's parents are demanding answers from the public school system. Tim, what kind of trauma is the transgender masquerade going to cause that little girl, do you think?
Well, you know, for every little girl who is in a sporting event, in a school bathroom, a school shower, school locker room that has a biological male come in, they're going to be traumatized. And this is the kind of woke ideology, we used to call this evil, that has to be opposed. And as Christians, we have to stand up against this kind of evil and protect our kids.
An 11-year-old.
Let me see. Let me pull this back out. But your thoughts, Brother Tad, on that scenario. You know, you have grandchildren who are school age, and a daughter who is still school age, your thoughts, your perspective as a parent, what would you have done if this was your child?
Beat the teachers and the parents. I'm beating everybody because they're supposed to be charged with keeping my daughter safe, my child safe. And if my child tells you she's uncomfortable with anything, at what point do you try to get her to a safe space? We keep talking about confused people's safety and not traumatizing them. Meanwhile, they're running amok within the community. And this is being supported by adults. I don't expect children to understand and be responsible by their actions. Children only learn what they're taught. They only mimic what they see. That craziness right there, a teacher would have got beat on, a principal, everybody. Because we're not going to no longer play with the safety of our children. Because that's exactly what it is now. Now you're forcing a child who's sexually confused to push these ideas and their physical presence on another child. I always tell people, man, children should always be safe. At home, at school, anywhere a child goes, children are innocent. Same thing I always tell my children. I tell Kayla to this day, to all my girls, hold on to your innocence for as long as you can. Same thing with my sons. Because once you start exploring and just dabbling cigarettes, weed, sex, alcohol, once you get into that realm, it's hard to turn back. So many people I've grown up with who are alcoholics, who are crackheads, who are drug addicts, is because when they were children and their mind wasn't fully developed, they experimented because somebody introduced it to them. How did DMX say he started smoking? Peace be upon him. Somebody gave him somebody he looked up to and respected, and he never bounced back from that. This is a serious thing, and sometimes people think it's just rhetoric we spitting, but we trying to save lives out here because we've seen too many lives destroyed inside our community and outside of our community. And it goes back to what you're saying. These things are being pushed on our children. This is outside our community, and some people acquiesce to it, so now they're supporting it within their own home. And enough is enough, man. Enough is enough. So to your question, I'm beating on everybody. Long story short.
That's the answer I was looking for. There is like the president has or the governor of a state has executive powers, right? But executive powers only acquiesce to one group. You know what that group is? Pressure groups. Pressure groups will make executive powers acquiesce to their will. How do I know this? This country wouldn't be the United States of America if pressure groups didn't put pressure on executive powers. We would still be in bondage, running from good old massa on a plantation if pressure groups didn't override executive powers. And we have to know how to use that because in our ignorance and blindness of how the political system works, we have acquiesced our parental powers to governor powers, government powers. And we have no pressure group to maintain a level of respect. In certain groups, ethnic groups, there are many pressure groups that will make political powers acquiesce. Here in the United States, we have a large Japanese presence here in the United States. But you know what maintains Japanese power here in the United States? It's the Yakuza. You know what maintains Russian power here in the United States? It's the Russian mafia. There are always pressure groups to bend the will of executive powers, and we have to know how to use that. But before we do that, we got to know what these groups really are. And we don't go back to our ancestors to let you know what dominance is and how you should seek dominance. I'm not here to be buddies with other groups. I'm here for power. I only want power. I don't want anything else. Anybody who tells you to accept anything less is a traitor to you and a traitor to your family and a traitor to your race. And if they have a problem with that, Sister Keisha is always available to debate anybody, anytime, anywhere, and I will destroy you. I will destroy you. But I see my brother Blacksmith on the check-in. Now I'm going to show y'all what Brother Black coming through now. Brother Black coming through tonight. Now, I'm going to just let him come through. Come on through. Brother Black, come on through.
What was that
comment?
Where that comment come from? I'm just another guy on the show. What's up, Brother Tad?
Brother Black with the fly fedora too. Hold on. Leave me out the loop.
Hey, Keisha got one on. Why I gotta be all the mention here now?
Because you're supposed to wear your New York hat, bro.
Okay, y'all forced.
Tad is the pressure group. You see, Tad is the pressure group. This is what I'm talking about.
Pressure.
There you go. He's the pressure group. Black
Peace,
y'all. Has to change the hat.
Peace. Hey, but I'm not going to talk much because I love what y'all two have been saying. But I'm just going to show people that this is a real book, and I've been exposing the industry, and I've been bigging it up. If you ever supposed to get it, you're supposed to get it now. Because this
hold it up to the camera, bro. Hold it up to the camera. Come on. Boom, bye, boom.
Boom, bye, hip hop will never die. It's available. I'm Elias Flavius on Facebook. Get at me. Come on now. I was writing about this stuff 12, 13 years ago. Professor Griff, when I was living in Atlanta, inspired me, and Black Dot from the Bronx, my hometown, inspired me with his book. So, I'm not writing stuff, gossip stuff. I'm writing about what happened back then. Them Cassie things.
And I got all three of y'all books.
Thank you. People was talking about that Cassie stuff 15 years ago. This ain't nothing new. This was probably early 2000s that this stuff all happened. She's now almost 40 years old, so she has a track history, even though she still looks very young. So that's my little contribution. I'm going to listen to y'all continue about what y'all talking about because it's A1 grade. Let's go.
Glad you mentioned that, but we're gonna deal with Cassie and all that stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
A little bit later. But I wanted to let the ancestor, Dr. Amos Wilson, explain to you what I'm trying to get you to understand. So we'll watch this clip and we'll come right back. Hold on, family. Here we go.
Why are we faced with these same problems again and again? Why do they never end? Because, ladies and gentlemen, ultimately the problem is not an economic problem so much as it is the problem of white domination of African people. That's the issue. This is the reason why I tell people you must study the psychology of domination even before you study the psychology of racism. Because racism is just a species, a subclass of domination. It is merely a rationalizing of the domination of one race by another. You must recognize then that domination is a problem, particularly for the dominated, and that the dominant dominate because it is to their what? Benefit to do so, because they benefit from it. Which means then that they benefit from the problems of the dominated. It's the problems of African people that are productive and beneficial for those who dominate us. Consequently, they must never release us from our problems because our problems are so profitable for them. This is what you got to keep in mind. No. The essence of domination is that the dominated must be made to do what? Work against their best interest. Or otherwise, what is the point? You're not bought under domination to work for what? Your own best interest. You're dominated to work in the best interest of those that dominate you. So to be dominated means, if you're not aware and awake and alive and conscious, that you're going to work against your own best interest.
So I hope, we can understand what it means. Brother Tag came back with the 1-2. He wasn't playing. Black, get in the court. Get in the court, Black. Get in the court.
This is what we doing tonight. But go ahead, Sister Keisha, finish your thought.
But as you see, the elder explained what dominance is. Who's being dominated here? Now, we got to talk real here. Who's being dominated here? Everybody got their foot on our neck. We ain't number 2 no more. We ain't number 3 no more. And damn sure ain't number 4 no more. We're being dominated around the globe. Now, I see a lot of African leaders around the globe trying to reclaim what's rightfully theirs. But I often ask the question, what acts militarily are they doing to, 1, protect themselves, 2, know the enemy is coming in that way? History tells us that the enemy is coming in that way. What are you doing different today that you didn't do yesterday that will relieve you of his dominance? And I'm not seeing that. Maybe I'm not supposed to see it. All I'm saying is that blueprint should be laid out. Because if you're telling a people that they should expect these changes, what are you doing to protect them so that it doesn't go back again? It's the same with our culture here. Our culture is dominated. We have absolutely no goddamn control over it. That's why we have to reclaim it. So although people were talking about kidnapping, sexual battery, all of these things that people are spewing in these internet spheres, we have to deal with it. We have to deal with these behaviors because those who were made claims against ain't innocent. Let's be clear. One of the reasons why I'm a proponent of knowing your bloodline is because I want you to deal with traumas and entities that attach themselves to you and live and feed off of your damn soul. So if you're very promiscuous, let's say, whether it's male or female, do you come from a bloodline of breeders? What, or do you come from a bloodline who was bred? Was there incest in your bloodline? So you got to look at these things so you can understand these behaviors that people are putting before you, how you can figure out how to navigate around it so it doesn't affect you, your soul, your family, your well-being. I've been boycotted. The 90% of rap, I've been boycotted. I meant what I said. Until it cleans itself up, you can kick rocks. And that's for every medium in the genre. All of you can kick rocks until you clean it up. We cannot continue to be the only people who demean themselves in this way. And now when it vomits all over the world, then everybody got commentary. You should have had commentary way back when. But because people adopt a mindset of those who dominate them. See, those Black people in business, the majority of folks, Black people in business who understand capitalism, don't try to change the paradigm of capitalism, but continue in the same vein of those who dominate you. This is why you will continue to fail. This is why these Black Wall Streets went under. Because you believe, you don't want to believe that this dominance have control over you. You like the same sports that he likes. You like the same food that he likes. You dress like him. You think like him. Your verbiage is like him. Your posture is like him. Don't believe me? Look at the 1% of Black people who we would consider elite. Look at them and put a white person side by side and tell me there is no difference. Tell me it's not the same. I mean, tell me. I bet anybody put the money up. I bet you side by side. I don't care if you put Earl Grey's, God rest his soul, but if you put Earl Grey's next to Warren Buffett, you will see the same goddamn ideology. How do I know? All of these blog spaces like the Shade Room or On Site, things of this nature, the Source magazine was the blueprint, in my opinion. Now, these two brothers, we all around the same age. They would tell you the Source was before all of these other folks that's out here. The Source was purchased by a Black enterprise. That's who bought the Source, right? Their sons. Earl Grey's and them sons bought it. Now, when they bought it, they didn't know how to run it. Because these are Ivy League Black folks. They think just like the same capitalists they trying to catch up to. And so when they bought it, and it was three of them, and then you had Benzino and Mays on the board, right? Those two got overwritten. They pushed Benzino out and Mays out. I forget his first name, but they pushed them. Dave Mays. Thank you, Tad. They pushed them out. In a matter, I think it wasn't even a year where they had to fold and sell it for pennies on a dollar. Now, prior to them doing that, I know that Benzino and them had a meeting with them and said, you know, pay us or buy us out. They didn't want to do it. They came with a low bid, actually. They came with a low ball bid. And they would have pretty much broke even. Because remember, when you look at the BET Awards, and they got all of that blueprint from the Source Awards. The Source Awards was first. BET Awards came later. So when you have these folks who have the same ideology, the same identity of those who dominate them, guess what? The script remains the same. So if Diddy did so and so and so, what the hell did Clive Davis do? What did Lara Cohen do? Huh? What the hell? What's the name from Interscope? Jimmy Iovine. What the hell they do?
Jimmy Iovine used to be the headmaster at the Church of Satan. That is a fact. That's in my book as well.
I could believe it.
Yeah. So and a lot of people said he was the orchestrator of the Biggie and Tupac war of the 90s.
Crazy. But I believe it. I believe you, brother. 100% I believe you. Why? Because behaviors and patterns don't change when the ideology remains the same. Remember that. Behaviors and patterns never change as long as the ideology remains the same. So if you go back to the American Revolution to now, the philosophy of this country has never changed. Ever. And we're going to go through some historical points in a little while so y'all can see that we know what the hell we talking about over here on Thorough Black Talk. Sister Farnessa said, clowns keep inviting everybody to the cookout while they come in and learn, eat, and steal everything. Absolutely. Because Rolling Stone could not say Eminem was the greatest rapper of all times if Dr. Dre ain't bring his ass in. You see, the same ideology. You don't see these folks as a threat. In my humble opinion, that makes Dre a traitor to the race.
What about when Rakim said the same thing?
Said what?
The same thing.
What? Say what? You gotta tell me what.
That Eminem was the baddest that ever did it.
Well, he's an idiot and he's a traitor to the race.
Okay.
I don't care who says it.
Or could their life be under threat if they didn't?
Then you're still a traitor to the race. When you listen, y'all know military. When you're given that gun and that uniform, you better stay on the right side of the line, because if you cross over there, what? You are a traitor.
Okay.
So we have to have the same ideology to protect our culture. We keep fleecing it to everybody. Now you got K-pop folks making more. I don't even know who the hell these people are
at all.
They making more money than the inventors of that same genre. That's insane to me. One day I'll get my child up here, but you could ask my child. She was not allowed to listen to no crackers in my house. None.
Not even Tina Marie?
None.
Not even Kenny Rogers?
None.
Hole & Oates?
Not in this house.
But no Barry Manilow.
You can listen to all you want outside, but in here, this is a black household.
Larry Graham.
This is a black household. So I might not care too much for Stevie Wonder, but Stevie Wonder will play all day in this damn house before I put on a Hall & Oates. And I'm not saying their music is bad. Hall & Oates, Tina Marie, plenty of them. Joe Cocker, all of them made good music. What's his name? Dirty Laydown. What's the jazz dude name?
Boz Scaggs.
Very good music. However, if you don't teach them the blueprint, they will fall for the imposter every time. Look how many black girls line up outside of, ABC Studios, whenever they got K-pop artists out there. Adele could be out there. Whoever. You see hundreds and hundreds of black teenagers, especially girls, out there. Now, the parents control the household. So if your child is more into Adele than he is to his own people, that's on you. That's on you. We got to understand what we're doing here. You're not going to go into a Chinese person's house and they worshiping black folks. You're just not going to find that. But us, we'll have any and everybody up. This is crazy. Going back to the baby boomers, y'all know damn well your mamas had a picture of John F. Kennedy next to Martin Luther King in the goddamn house. As if this white man has done something for you, except use your vote to make his people see the Irish wasn't considered white until the Kennedys came in and solidified who they were. Meanwhile, we fleeced ours out to everybody. But I'm going to get off my soapbox. Shout out to Sister Monique Nicholas Brooklyn on the chat. Yeah. Got to give Nicholas. Listen, Kwanzaa coming up. Y'all got Christmas coming up. Run to Nicholas Brooklyn. Tell Sister Monique TBT sent you. She got everything. So check out Nicholas Brooklyn. Sister Farnessa said, how are they going to create a genre and then name somebody outside of your culture and race as the GOAT? Pure treason. Absolutely. You can't do that. Every genre. They did not name it. They did not create it. We did it. Whether it's country, jazz, blues, gospel, soul, it don't matter. We created it. It's ours. But you got all these other people coming up in here with an ideology of the Yorugu, and they behave as such. That's why Diddy in trouble. That's why Jamie Foxx in trouble. That's why they came for Mayor Adams. You better look in your family history and see that you come from a line of breeders. When you have people out here talking, oh, we need to spread our seed. Negro, you came from a line of breeders. I can almost guarantee you that shit. I can almost guarantee you that. Because when you go back to the origin, and I always say this, I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, y'all tell me I'm wrong. When they found the first or oldest fossils on the continent of Africa, there was no written literature with them. So everything that you believe was given to you until you change your own mindset. Everything. You think you have an original thought. You don't. You don't. So we got a lot to clear up here, and we're going to get all into it. I see my sister Marcia. You ready, Marcia? Marcia, I see ya. What's good, Marcia? How you feeling?
Peace, Sister Marcia.
Peace, family. How's everyone doing?
Chilling. We on that type of time.
We on a fedora.
I didn't get the uniform.
See,
Supposed to have one laying around. See how Brother Black was?
I do.
Real quick.
actually,
I do. I have a few of them, but then I have to get up and
tonight.
You better grab one.
All right, bear with me. I'll be back.
okay, we gang.
I'll be
We're gonna
back.
pull you out, bring you back in. We'll pull you
Just
out.
to keep it real quick though, you hit on
Go
a
ahead,
lot of
brother,
points, right? One of the things, a little hip hop history you may or may not know, but Doggy Diamonds was actually in one of the earlier Source magazines, if not the first one, back in 1992. And I wanted to read something real quick from our elder. Most Black artists dream of millions, sellers, fast cars, and quicker women, and the development of their work has nothing to do with the struggle or cultural maintenance. Many only want to try to find out what's happening and plug into it for profit. Consequently, the development of our musical culture is stagnated by profit motive. Therefore, the political products of our real creative forces are forced away from public eye and earshot. Also, on an unconscious level, young Black artists stray away from the type of music that aids in clarifying our own situation. And he said situation, not situation. And this genocidal war against white supremacy. I repeat, on a conscious level, they are not into creating anything that cannot make riches. Money is the goal, not cultural maintenance. And who has the money? Then who must you please? The enemy. And then he goes on. Furthermore, the culture bandits win by delivering to the people a backward notion that music is solely for profit and has no other reason for existing for the young artist. At the same time, it is made clear that the silly sex-orientated songs have a shot at turning poor songwriters, singers, publishers, producers, or record companies into millionaires. Now, he wrote this in the early 90s, Culture Bandits. And that's what they're doing.
That's Del Jones.
Baba Del Jones, peace be upon him, Culture Bandits. Get this as a Kwanzaa gift because he prophesied this so long ago. And I encourage people all the time, read anything written by Del Jones. Anything you get your hands on written by Baba Del Jones, get it. Because like he said, we believe that making songs about sex, drugs, and it's all about the money, not the cultural maintenance. To your point, Sister Keisha. So for Rakim to say Eminem was one of the best, that hurt my heart because Eminem can't hold the light to Rakim. But then we got to go back to the early stages of hip hop where Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, they was dropping jewels. And it came with the God body lessons, the 5% teachings, the 120s. So now to the God Rakim Allah, then Eminem is the GOAT. Is the white man still the devil or no? Is he still the devil or no? Because if he is, are we now praising the devil, saying that he's greater than the gods? The inventors, the fathers, the original authors? Like, it got to make sense. But again, to Baba Del Jones' point, you're trying to placate to the enemy because you want the money. You don't want the cultural continuity. You don't want it to be written in stone that you was here, you made a big difference. Everybody want to check now. Eminem is not the best, and Eminem will always say everybody that he looked up to were the Black artists. I like that he even mentioned Master Ace. Shout out to Brooklyn. He gave the flowers to those who deserve it. However, we don't see no value in ourselves. We only see the value in the dollar. And that's what makes us crazy, because we value their system when their system is not to our benefit. We see what's going on.
Well, I'm sorry, Ted, finish, please.
Go ahead, Brother Blacksmith.
What I wanted to say to that in particular was, you know, and I get it. I'm not knocking what none of y'all saying, but in doing extensive research and knowing some of the same people that you're talking about, Brother Tad, I know for a fact there's a controlling factor where there's a, like, you know, somebody that'll look at you and say, if you ever say anything different from what I just said right now, I'm gonna kill you and your family.
Right. Well, that's evident. That's evident.
So when I say that, I hope those two in particular that you last spoke of, people like KRS-One, people like, you know, I'm saying names and I'm not disparaging or saying that these things happen, but most of these icons that we're talking about, firstborn sons have died under mysterious circumstances. Yeah. All the way leading up to Usher's son drowning in Lake Lanier, where it seemed like 20 people died. It's probably a 5-mile wide lake. A number of, like, every summer, I lived in Atlanta for a few years too. Every summer people die in that damn lake, without fail.
Well, we know the history of Lake Lanier.
Of course. You so know, what I'm saying, these mysterious things that happen, I'm not saying he was a victim of, look, Dre's son, KRS-One's son. I don't know about Rakim and his children or what have you.
And not to cut your wisdom, Black, because I'm in agreement with you.
Right.
There's an energy that we have to acknowledge. And what happens is we don't believe that energy is real. When we talk about spirits, not to get on no voodoo spooky stuff.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Energy is real. Everything is energy, molecules, wavelengths. All of this is real stuff, energy. And sometimes we don't realize it's almost like what's known as the butterfly effect. How they say a butterfly flaps its wings and the ripples go around the world and create a tornado. The little things we do have a major impact. Even if you read what's the book? It's by a white dude, but it's called Atomic Habits. It's called Habit Stacking. Just little changes that you make will have a big impact on your life. These things are so true. I'm glad that KRS boycotted the hip hop Grammy thing. And he gave, but you know, of course, he's done some questionable things in the past. But one thing I always say, I like to give our brothers, our Black folks, grace. We got to give each other grace, because a lot of times we operate out of places of ignorance. Somebody had to give Malcolm grace for him to be our shining prince. Somebody had to give me grace for me to still be alive and free and able to learn different than what I thought was right before. Because now I operate in right knowledge, but back in the days, I just operated just like a lot of these rappers are, because that was my source of information.
Right.
They didn't have a viable outlet that I respected, that resonated with my spirit, until they started putting Malcolm on songs, until I heard Dr. Khalid on songs, and it made me look deeper into who are these people. And when I saw their courage, it was more the courage than the knowledge that attracted me first, because they stood tall, 10 toes down, and cursed out the white man, put his finger in his face, like, you're not gonna play with me. I respect that. So if you can stand up to the white man, what else who are you? What do you have to say? And then that lured me into the teachings and helped move me out of that paradigm of NWA and the likes. You know what I mean? Because I was on the Eazy-E back in 1987, maybe 1988. Been on
FTP?
You know what I'm saying? So these things, on our young, impressionable minds, we're being programmed. And I think we talked about on the last show that when I was in Africa, they was doing the same thing, playing this self-destructive music because it's targeted towards us. Sister Keisha said, and Dr. Francis Cress Wilson said, we the only group of people who sing about our own demise, sing about genocide. We sing and we praise and we applaud it. Till this day, when you get a Sexy Red and a Sukiana Johnson and all of these other folks out here with this degrading behavior on what it is to be Black in America, whether you're from the continent, whether you're from the Caribbean, whether you're indigenous, no matter where you're from, as Black people here, we are taught to hate ourselves. And the sad part is that's the only thing we're excelling in. not the only thing, but there's other areas we excel, but we got to get back to what Baba Dell Jones was talking about for our cultural maintenance, for our self-determination. But I'm gonna step off my soapbox.
Facts, brother. Facts.
Tad got a lot of grace. Sister Keisha has little grace. I'm just being real.
You know,
We live in a time where things are readily at your fingertips. And so as far as giving grace, I do give grace, but minute, because you are at an advantage that we didn't have in the 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, 90s, and 80s. I mean, early 90s. We didn't have it. So now things are readily at your fingertips. So my grace for you is minute. So don't come to me with foolishness. Brother Tad has always been the diplomat one. He gonna work it out with you. I'm
You sound
not.
like Doggy with that. He always called me a diplomat. Like,
I'm not. Me and Dog is not working it out with you.
But you know what it is, Sister Keisha? Because like in my line of work, my former line of work, I was quick to fly off the handles, and my hands got a mind of their own, and a lot of acts of violence could have been avoided had I gave some people grace. And even when I talk to young people right now, and when I kick it to them, a lot of stuff that's common to us on this panel in our audience, these young people never even heard of before. They haven't even been introduced. People heard the name Malcolm X, but they don't know his teachings because the parents ain't know. Teachers definitely ain't going to teach it. That's why we started Party, because it has to be a place where our young people could come at least get introduced to the knowledge. Some of these people haven't even been introduced to be turned off by it. Some people didn't know the difference between Malcolm X and Farrakhan. And I say, as a black man from the hood, we have to give it to him. That's why I always salute Baba Sweets. And I tell any and everybody, Baba Sweets was one of the first people that really put us on. Baba Sweets would come in. We was young knuckleheads watching videos, chilling in the room, smoking weed. Baba Sweets come through.
See, but that's different. Y'all was young teenagers. We talking me. I'm not talking about young folks. I'm talking about grown adults.
Right.
Those of you who are baby boomers,
you're right.
Gen X,
but here it goes.
No grace for you.
But what happens is when they become teenagers and they don't get this information, they turn into young adults. So young fools grow to be old fools if people don't nip it early. Because once people get a certain age, they don't even want to hear it because they think they're older than you. They know more than you. And sometimes we got to be humble enough to acknowledge, yo, I don't know. I never heard that. Introduce me to that. It's like how many people defend the Democratic Party and they don't even know nothing about politics other than what they hear on the news. Like, yo, you don't even know the Constitution. You don't know nothing. And you trying to debate something. Stop. And that's why I like to deal with young people. Because, you know what I'm saying, young people are still open to learn. Their minds are still, you know what I'm saying, their brains still aren't fully developed and they have more questions than adults. Young people still want to know some things. And if we give them right knowledge, they can make right choices. Don't mean all of them going to do the right thing because peer pressure is something else. Because I agree with you. That's why I don't deal with older folks, the baby boomers. I'm not arguing with nobody who got a bigger bar than they have library. They got more movies than they got books in their house. They got more bottles of liquor than they got books in their house. You ask them who Dr. Amos Wilson is, they say, no, my doctor is... You know what I'm saying? My doctor is Dr. Mahmoud Muhammad. Like, come on, man. Like, they don't even have a frame of reference. One thing, and I'm going to pass the mic back, Sister Keisha. One of the things I always laughed at about Sanford and Son, this little jewel, notice every time Fred say something stupid, Lamar say, come on, Pop, where you get that from? He said, I saw it on the late show. All his information comes from television. And people in 2023, moving into 2024, still operates in that paradigm. All of their information comes from television. And we know that's a whole nother show and topic in itself.
That's why I stay by myself.
So that's why we got to give our people grace because I was out there. And if it wasn't for my praying grandparents and elders who saw my potential, I could have died a long time ago or still be sitting in jail. And what I want, my purpose in life is to save our people by any means necessary. Any talent that I may have, just Whatever it is it's going to take to save the people coming up behind me, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm off my soapbox.
Brother Peace, and Sister Farnessa, sorry. She said it's time for Ice Cube to be called to the carpet too. He is one of from the original national platform and said that the N-word was a term of endearment and that behavior took off after that. Well, let me just say, I never like West Coast rap. I just don't. I never none of them. In fact, I used to tighten up my cousin Tashima back in the days because at one time she was living in Virginia. She used to come home singing that JJ Fast stuff. Look, quiet that over here. So
Like,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. When you see her, she'll tell you we ain't like that over here. So I never liked them.
You don't like the cool?
Like I said, I never liked West Coast stuff. I just don't. When I hear certain things, if it doesn't listen, brother.
I seen Tad downtown Brooklyn one day in hammer pants.
Well, he could have.
Come on.
I wasn't rocking with Tad back then, so I don't care.
Hammer was the man. Too legit to quit.
And shout out to him too. He said he boycotted all those events. They invited him to so many events for the Hip Hop 50th. He said he didn't go to none of them.
Who's
and
that?
Hammer. He said because they all phony and fake.
I agree.
You trying to be this, that, and the third when you really not that life. And that's why I call bluff on all of them. Every last one of them. Because if you that tough, how you let some little take everything from you? You a sucker. That's sucker stuff to me. And a lot of people, see, Brother Taggy, y'all grace. Even some of us who know better, who's supposed to know better, still have degenerate behavior. And I'm gonna tell you something. I've been watching this channel on YouTube. You got these Asian women and these Dominican women and these African women who are coming after you, American dudes, your passport bros. You're going over there to be the slut of the year. Well, guess what? They coming to see you now. Listen. Just like a woman, if a woman is promiscuous in the street, I will call her a slut and a whore. If a man is promiscuous in the street, you're a slut and a goddamn whore. There is no difference. Sister Keisha don't got no tolerance for BS. I don't. I ain't got no time for no BS.
You trying to tell me Dr. Umar married the wrong chick?
Tad is a bad hombre.
No, I'm saying he had the conscious stripper, the old lady, jigged out of
Marcia, get in here and deal with your brother, please.
I mean, hold up, but he's single.
Hey, Keisha, mute his mic and let Marcia talk. Speak.
You could be single all you want. Listen, single is single. Meet people, date people, whatever you want. But if you're a slut, you're a slut, and that's it. That's what it is.
Even if you King Kong of consciousness?
King Kong consciousness is a slut. And you can tell him I said it. You're a slut. And listen, when you out there in these streets, what do you call women who do this? It's no different. And see, this is why, not for nothing, on a serious tip, this is why a lot of men were allowed to get away with bad behavior. Even in this so-called conscious community, Dr. So-and-so, stay trying to holler, even though he got a goddamn wife. Don't play with me out here. A lot of people have slut-like behavior. And that's why I'm glad people stay the hell away from me, because I will embarrass your dumb ass. Don't come to me with no foolishness, because I'll go tell your goddamn wife that you're a slut. And I don't care. If she don't like the way I call you that, and she can see me outside, she can get the 1-2 anytime. Because I don't play this type of behavior. There's a reason why I dress the way that I dress. When I go to certain events, I try to look unsexy as possible, because we deal with a lot of slut behavior. I'm serious. And I don't want that attention, because if my husband got to get involved, he's not going to talk to you. He's going to blow your wig back. That's why I don't listen. I'm very cautious in spaces that I go. Even when I was in the partying life, I was very cautious of my surroundings. because I know if I have to call Brother Black and Brother Tad, they not coming to talk to your dumb ass. It's gonna be a problem. So I'm mindful not to be in spaces so that I don't have to call them. Because if I do, they not coming to talk to you. My cousins, my brothers, my husband, they not coming to talk to you at all. And we got a lot of brothers and sisters with slut-like behavior. The biggest conscious ones with the biggest locks is the biggest slut. Please don't make me embarrass y'all. Get in the goddamn comments. I want some of you to, because some of y'all watch the goddamn program. Please don't make me embarrass you tonight. You better keep your fingers off the keys, because I will give you that stuff tonight. But I'm going to get off my sister. Sister Marcia, how you feel?
Yeah. Yo, I swear, you know what's so funny, though? Me and Baba Baruti years ago had this conversation. We had this conversation.
Shout out to Baba Baruti.
Shout out to Baba Baruti. He said, Brother Tad, all I can
and Mama Ya.
Yes. He said, Brother Tad, just surround yourself with good sisters. He said, they will be your gate to keep them away. You know, because me and Baba had and I'm gonna keep it a buck. We had a real conversation. I said, you know, women be in my inbox. I said, Baba, you know, I'm not gay, but I don't want to be tempted either. I said, how do you deal, like, for real? Because we see what happened to so many brothers who get power drunk.
Yes.
You know, we seen the sucker polites and there's so many. We seen it all. And I'm not telling nobody to take a vow of abstinence or nothing like that. But Baba said, yo, surround yourself with good, strong sisters. He said, they'll be your gate around. And it's been working so far. Some people have been trying to squeeze through the bars, though, you know, like you used to do in the park.
Get out of here, because I'll punch you in the throat if you come messing with Brother Tad. I will chop your throat so bad, you don't want these hands.
You know what's funny? Because what I've learned about this movement is that people bring that behavior and they bring it right over here without self-regulating and correcting. Now, granted, everybody's human. I ain't trying to be in nobody's bedroom. However, it goes back to your point about the behavior, about this one, that one, this one, that one, this one, that one, this one, that one, because I've seen it too in my years, and it's no different than what goes on in the streets.
The church too?
Except you just grew locks and threw a dashiki on. And we have to be in charge of ourselves and our behavior. This is why Baba Rudy wrote the book Iwa. And also in an attempt to find your quote unquote compliment. Because I get it. Some people are just promiscuous. Some people are trying out, you know. But some people, I've literally seen, Sister Keisha, state. Like, yo. And it's yeah. There's some things going on. But we talk about the hip hop music, right? We know who influences that. But we got to be mindful that we don't make that synonymous with blackness, because talking to a lot of people, we think criminality and degeneracy is synonymous with being black. And we have to change that. We have to change that thought process and those ideas. It's like if you talk to trailer trash who hang out with black folks and they think they're more black because they curse, use the N-word, do drugs. It's like they adopt degenerate behaviors and then be like, I only hang with black people, you know, trying to talk out their neck, thinking ghetto is being black. When the fact of the matter is actually acting like their natural selves. Us, we're out of character when we start acting ghetto and we start acting ignorance. That go back to why I like to give our people grace, because a lot of things, a lot of behaviors we have to unlearn. Like there's a book called Slave Coast, and it talks about breeding farms in South Carolina and Baltimore. And then they go and talked about how incest was a thing in Baltimore, had one of the highest rates of incest. But why? Because people were bred to do that. Back to your point earlier about being breeders. So a lot of degenerate, unacceptable behavior was forced on a lot of us. And it takes us to really unplug and unlearn a lot of these behaviors, but it's being reinforced by people that look like Douglas there. It's being reinforced through the music and the television show. In fact, I was watching a documentary about Norman Lear. I think you sent it to me. I think you might have sent it to me about Norman Lear. And I wrote a report in school about that before, but we could always use a refresher course on how he manufactured the image of what black families look like, which necessarily wasn't true. But then he also wrote the script, which does what? It changed the narrative and changed the language. He wrote for the Jeffersons, Good Times, Sanford and Son, all of these things. And some of them were ideas he stole from the UK and then perverted them with negative images of what it is to be black.
Actually, the writer of most of those shows you just mentioned is a black dude that Norman Lear cheated. And then he sued him.
What's his name, Sister Keisha?
Yeah, Monty something, yeah.
Eric Monty.
Eric Monty. Yeah, I knew it was Monty.
Yes.
I didn't know it was first last name. Yeah.
And and you're right, Brother Blacksmith, because he didn't write the shows to have that level of degeneracy. And that's why Esther Rose fought so hard to have a husband, because he didn't even want to have a husband. They always want to show the image of broken families. But even when we fast forward to this day and age, the CDC shown that no racial group men are more involved than the black fathers with their children, whether he's in the home or not. Black men aren't involved in their children's lives. But what do they constantly sell us? That black men ain't this, black men ain't that. They try to reinforce that with negative images. And then unfortunately, some sisters adopt that and run around with that rhetoric. But then ask why they can't find a good man, but they only like black men. Because maybe whatever happened in with their fathers, and then it's reinforced by the images that's shown. We have to be mindful and unlearn all of this stuff. Anytime you're in agreement with mainstream society, know that you're headed in the wrong direction. And I'm
absolutely. If they go left, you go right.
That's it.
It don't matter. It don't matter. You just go the opposite direction. Sister Amanette too, she said that's why my martial arts mean so much to me. I know I'm old, but these hands young and I gotta get them. That's right. Listen, you can get these. I ain't playing with you. So, Brother Kev, shout out to South Kakalaki on the check-in.
Brother Kev.
Some of the same conscious folks want to keep that street mentality in a negative way. But when people like us been saying that the behaviors need to be cleaned up, we are called haters. Yeah, it's the same in the church too. Then you have what you call this pastor who just got locked up again? The one who got robbed and whatever. You keep trying to keep this.
Whitehead.
Yeah, Whitehead.
In Brooklyn?
Yeah. You keep trying to keep that same mentality, you're going to get what you're looking for.
Hold on, he got locked up again?
You're going to get what you're looking for. That's right. Now you're in federal trouble now. So playing these games. But again, he adopted the mindset of a white capitalist. Got your behind tripped up. They not playing with y'all out here. They not. This is the law firm. For those of you who want to look at the cases in depth, this is the law firm that is representing Cassie and this latest victim, the 17-year-old. But when you go through this website, he is the attorney actually, and I think he represents Nafissatou Diallo also in her civil case. But when you go through this law firm, excuse me, and you look at the cases that they've tried, and you start to put the dots together. You start to connect the dots on, who they are coming after. Remember, what's his name? Actor Michael Rappaport said they're going to come see y'all, or you black elites who keeping your mouth closed on Israel, they're going to come and see you. So everybody getting a Negro wake-up call right now. Everybody. You're going to learn today. You're going to learn today. But this is the law firm, so you guys could go to the website. Actually, some of the transcripts are listed. You got to go to actually his page because he's the one who's representing these victims of whatever they are, whether it's Jamie Foxx or whatever. That's the guy right there. This is the law firm. Whenever whenever they release the documentation, I always send it to the team, right? Because like I said last time we were on, you have to know the difference of when someone is following a notice of summons and when it's actually um, going to case, right? Tells you in the lettering. If you see red lettering, you know that it's a summons, right? Like with Eric Adams, his was a summons with an intent to file, right? And I guess they did before that deadline came on or whatever. But you got to pay attention to these things and then look at these law firms and see the kind of cases that they represent. And then you know what the jig is up. The jig is up for a lot of people. Everybody getting a wake up call. But, I ain't hear much from my sister Marcia. Marcia, what do you think about these behaviors that are going on? And, what could we do to change those?
Well, since I entered the conscious environment, I understood that it was a playing ground for men. And I think this is one of the reasons why women are not part of this community, because men are just hitting them and leaving them, and they think that, oh, I'm going into this community, these brothers that's going to be like upholding to something. They have this, they have that, and they find out they still have the street mentality, and you just like, damn, fell right back into the same damn trap. It's just in a different face. And so it's hard for
But
sisters to like,
you know, what would make a woman just automatically give herself to these dudes because they like his verbiage? See that whole
yeah,
mentality. You had a whole
basically,
mentality before you started.
basically,
Right. You already had a whole
basically.
mentality. Hey, guys, sister,
Right, basically. No, you ain't cut me. You speaking truth to power. Like, you hear the game, and the game sounds so good. The same way you meet a street brother. He's kicking the verbiage that you want to hear, and you feel as if this is the right light and the right this and the right then, this, that, or the third, and then find out that it's the same, you know, ocean with pee in it, so you just end up back in the same trap, and you have to sit there and reanalyze yourself if that's where you want to be and if that's how you want to be. So it comes on the women to hold themselves accountable as well. Like, you can't lay fault on a brother who had bad behaviors because you too had bad behaviors, right? You too were you too fell with the street mentality and was like, "Yup, this is it. This is blah blah blah," and it wasn't. And it's okay. It's the life that we live in. However, if you don't check yourself and you continue that poor behavior, you are not making inroads, and you're still creating a problem within the system that you're saying has a problem. The same way with churches. You go into a church, you're like, oh my God, I found my church family, and 900 brothers are hitting on you. And then you find that one brother that's saying the right lingo and everything like that. 7 years later, 9 children later, you're sitting there like, damn, he's just as dirty as Tom on the corner. And I didn't want Tom on the corner because I knew I can see the dirt. But in certain environments, you think the dirt has washed away and it's no longer there. But it is still there. And it's just there in a different format. And it's us to be able to vet and understand certain things about people, asking the right questions before you get into situationships, or like Jada says, entanglements. Yes, yes, brother. So it's all about us as well, and our ability to hold ourselves accountable and responsible for the actions that we take. We can't hold one person, it was his fault I got pregnant. Girl, you were in that bed, you opened your leg. He ain't just putting that baby in you. It happened. It took two to tango. Respect your portion of the responsibility and move forward. If we can't do that, then we are still damaging the community. And if we don't have the courage, because that's what's missing in our community, as you talked about the rappers and how they're holding other people, other races to a plateau as if they didn't establish anything. If you're holding other people to a plateau and you can't say, I did this is my contribution, then you ain't crap. And one thing to Brother Tad's point, in speaking to the young people, Frederick Douglass told us this, right? It is better to speak to children than to speak to broken men, because the broken man is not going to listen to words of consciousness, to words that bring you to the next plateau. But a child whose mind is wide awake and is ready to absorb things will hear us and will make inroads. And this is where it takes courage again, because that intergenerational knowledge that we bring to the younger generation, sometimes it takes courage, because like we said last week or previous weeks, these children are out here singing Pound Town, and you're trying to tell them there's more to than Pound Town. There is what was the sister Simone, the young sister Simone. We have to be the ones to reintroduce them, and hopefully some of the parents will listen. But if not, fudge the parents, move forward, charge forward on behalf of our future and our legacy. And if we're not taking that into consideration, we're still poo-poo for poo-poo birds too. And it starts with us. We are the generation that we've been looking for. And if we don't establish that ground, then
save it. It's going to take Gen X to save it. And now I'm just not saying that. Experts are saying that. But I wanted to play this clip really quick of Dr. Amos Wilson. The community has a right to concern itself with so-called love. See, my marriage to my husband is just not my marriage to my husband. We have to be a representative for our families, not just for our families, but for our communities. So there is a give and take to maintain this. For that image, you have to have it. I got it from my aunts and my uncles. That's where I got it from. My aunts and my uncles. Period. They've been in marriages 30,
and
40
if you don't have it,
years. But I'm saying you better understand what this blueprint is and stop thinking of the self. See, when people come up with a mate, they thinking about their own pleasures, their own needs, their own wants.
Absolutely.
And that's why your ass can't maintain a relationship, because you're so concerned with the self. And as Brother Tad says,
and
you have to allow space for grace, for growth, because I'm not the same woman I was at 25. The likes and wants that I had at 25, I ain't got at 53. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to understand it and have that understanding that, yeah, the mindset changes, but the blueprint remains the same. Stop thinking of the self. So I'm gonna play this clip by
Keisha, I want to say this real quick before we go to the clip, because I don't want to forget. Real quick, I see where you're coming from, and I respect it, because I'm somebody who feels we need to go back to Ma'at. And in Ma'at, when you are totally disagreeable, you have to be outcasted from the group, because you cannot agree with the group writ large. And so in order to move forward, you have to rid yourself of that nefarious element, if you will, because it's going to be nefarious to the agenda of the whole. So I understand where you're coming from. And the second thing I wanted to add on to was something Marcia and Tad touched on earlier, was that part, and you mentioned it too. So I'm not going to fault you for what you just said, in that, being 20 is not the same as being 50 and thinking the same way. That is, you have to grow. The biggest part of this whole conversation, that I don't think we use the word intentionally or, straightforward, like, is growth. So inside of that growth is where hopefully by the time you're 40, 45, you at least thinking a little different to get to a different direction by the time you're in your 50s. So that's all I wanted to add.
And a lot of these artists aren't growing. They still want to be 25. You 50. You look
Yeah,
stupid.
we have a perpetual arrested development in our community. We are freshmen and sophomores everywhere we go, no matter how old we are. You have 60, 70-year-old men still acting as if they're 20. You are no longer a freshman anywhere. My man, you are a senior. You are a junior. You are something different. Act as if. But like we were talking about earlier, when you've never seen certain things in your community, when the reflections of things on TV shows you a broken family, that's all you think of. You only can imagine brokenness versus reimagining the greatness that you can contribute to your family, your community, and your nation. And we are just stuck in this arrested development of this is all I know and this is all I'm going to do versus grow together, like Brother Black is saying, with your complement or with your community, with your organizations. A lot of organizations today are still on a freshman level where they've been around for 100 years. They're not doing anything but
There's
the
a
same
controlling.
thing that they did 100 years.
If the group is over 100 years old, it's been bullied out. So there's no hope for that group.
Well, if we say there's no hope for our community, then we're
I didn't
stuck,
say the
and so we
community. I
can't think
said
like
that
that.
that group, that company,
But
that organization,
yes, but
including the
we
Nation of
must have
Islam.
faith.
Huh?
We must have faith and grace. We must have faith and grace that things can change within those systems.
They
If
go that
not,
word again,
we're
grace.
just saying that there's no hope. But then you're saying there's no hope, Brother Black. That's what you're saying.
I didn't say that because I know for a fact
So what
us
are you
four
saying?
right here is thorough enough to be on Thorough Black Talk. How's that?
But you know what?
I appreciate that.
For a moment, but I get what Brother Blacksmith is saying too, because this is the thing that keeps us on the hamster wheel, because we have been around for so long. Some organizations been around for so long, and it's all about the nostalgia, as opposed to, I like the word earlier, reimagine. We have to reassess where we are.
Oh, Keisha drop off again, right?
Yeah, she'll be back on. Because
She'll be back.
What's happening is that people are still trying to accomplish old goals. They're still using old tools. We know marching doesn't help anything. How do we properly boycott? Not by announcing it. And that's the thing. We still making announcements about things instead of properly organizing within the community. All other groups boycott us. They never say we're not shopping at black stores. They just don't.
They just don't shop.
They don't.
But they have a
news and say at 6 o'clock this Sunday we standing out here and we boycott. They don't do that. They just don't support us, and rightfully
they don't need to. They have that grassroots.
But check it out. They do, because we are the trendsetters. We set the tone and pace for everything. Problem is we don't keep it for ourselves. Everything we get great, we want to take it to other people, run and show them like, oh, look what I got. Look what we doing over here. We having a cookout this Saturday. You invite, you cool. And this is the problem, as opposed to your point, grassroots. Malcolm made a speech, message to the grassroots. On the grassroots level, we stay here, but we don't take it a step above. Once we get on these platforms, we start at the grassroots level. Then once we move up to the upper echelon of society, we start forgetting what the goal was. Instead of people standing 10 toes down, being a spokesman for the community, let's take Al Sharpton. We can say he started grassroots, but then once he got invited in, what did he do? Instead of speaking for the people, he just flipped the script.
No,
somehow got involved with the mob. How that happened, I don't know.
But the idea that you're putting your pockets, like, again, this goes back to millions of conversations ago, if we don't have a code and a value system put in place with structure where money is not the end goal. But when you're sitting there dangling $100,000, $1 million into someone's face, guess what?
Okay, can y'all hear me?
About those folks, I
Please.
got this and I got that. And it would have been one thing if you said, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get this and then bring back to our community. No, you hoarded it and you kept it to yourself. And then you said, you know what? I'm going to form my own little organization and do blah, 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 blah. And you form your own little organization. And in your organization, you still uphold the man before you uphold your race, because you didn't consider that your race was more valuable than that dollar. You didn't consider that your future grandchildren was more valuable than anything else. My mic is dead, so I can't hear you well.
I'm in agreement with that. I just want to take it a step further to the consequential part of it all, because there's been no consequences. And there used to be consequences, but now we've been indoctrinated with so much fear of the ops, of the enemy, that even when our own betray us, there's no real consequence, because we'll say, oh, they're not welcome in this community no more. But how you gonna bar somebody from a place they already abandoned? You know what I'm saying? If I leave
again, that's accountability and responsibility within the community. If you don't have value systems, if you don't have a code of conduct, how can you hold anyone accountable and responsible?
But that's my point. You're gonna have a code of conduct, but there got to be consequences if you don't uphold that code. The same thing in the gang situation. If you in the gang and we riding on the ops and you don't do what you're supposed to do, there are consequences. Not just, oh, he a sucker, he didn't do what he's supposed to do, I told him grab that dude and he didn't. No, there's consequences. Same thing as in the household. Son, when I come back in this house, dishes better be done, garbage better be out. How serious is this? How serious is my son gonna take me if there's no consequences? That's why in the community, we keep talking this peace and we all this. I get it. I love black people too, man. My family black. My mama black. My daddy black. Thank God my kids are black, right? Everybody black. I love black folks. But at the same token, when we out here in the community doing the work, there has to be consequences. And the thing is, we keep crying. We act like suckers and we act like cowards. Because when dudes do approach people who not upholding, and shout out to our brother Ashe SJ, because when he did hold somebody accountable, everybody attacked Ashe and then called him an agent for holding somebody accountable from stealing from the community. Are we serious?
But again, if you don't have the code, Brother Black,
no, we don't have the consequence.
Tad,
the code is what Ashe demonstrate, Sister Marcia. A code don't mean nothing if there's no consequences. You have all. It's like the laws. Laws don't mean nothing if they're not enforced. So yeah, code. We all on code. You on code, I'm on code, he on code. But if nobody enforces the code, that's what you're talking about. It's not we don't have a code. You got a white boyfriend?
If there's a code, I don't think the community at large knows the code. That's the problem.
Who don't know the code? Who don't know the code?
Can I chime in? Can
I get into this? I'll be right back. I gotta fix this mic.
Don't talk that Bronx stuff.
I'll be right back.
I'm finna to agree with you. You telling me the Bronx stuff now. Tad, I'm sure you remember a dude named Abdul Haq, correct?
Of course.
Okay. What did Abdul Haq do?
What? You talking about Brooklyn Abdul Haq?
Yeah.
What do you mean, what did he do?
When he shut down all the crack spots in Bed-Stuy downtown area?
Yeah.
You remember that, right? What the police did? Ran down on him, put him in jail, right?
Yes.
For a long time. I used to run into him all the time on the train. And okay, thank you. I'm glad he's still alive. He up there now. But he put an end to a lot of stuff down there, and the police put him away for a long time. Every time I used to see him, if I had money, I bought incense from him. Even if I didn't need, I got 2 on me. I didn't buy another one. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, you know, I was trying to prove, I was more saying that to Marcia, but she's no longer here at the moment. So
there's consequences because
exactly.
it looks like there's no code if it's not being reinforced. And then the situation becomes we want to announce that we reinforcing the code. We had a situation when we was with Straight Black Pride. There was a situation. A sister tried to get us in conflict with our Baltimore brothers. And she said, what y'all gonna do? What y'all gonna do? I said, first of all, I'm gonna talk to the brothers. And shout out to our brothers in Baltimore, because we had a conversation and it was constructive. Because like we talked about earlier, our people come out the streets and come into the movement with the same mentality. Because what they wanted to do was see Straight Black Pride have an issue with another group, another black group. And, you know, I said, if we do decide to do something, are we supposed to broadcast it? Are we supposed to say that's that gang Negro street mentality? But we at least owe each other a conversation. And of course, we got down to the bottom of it. It was a big misunderstanding. And it was a bunch of people trying to start something, you know, because we got agents in the movement. I'm not talking about people who work for law enforcement. I'm talking about agents of chaos. They not with the CIA or FBI. They just like drama. When they was in the hood growing up, they like drama. When they was in school, they like drama. Some people just like drama. But my point to the sister was, even if we do decide to do something, we supposed to jump on the internet and broadcast it? See, this is our problem. We talk too much. What we giving people right here is just basic information, scratching the surface. Things that we all should know. But again, we stand on code because we're not telling them, yo, we're going to do this. We're going to F this one up. We're going to F that one up. Because when the time is going to be there. Mm-hmm. You can't stop the time.
Military science.
Exactly. However, no laws, no codes, no policies have ever been effective without reinforcement. What's reinforcement look like? Consequences. What's consequences? Whatever that looks like. Whether you lose your job or lose your life, something has to happen when you don't abide by the rules. But when the group don't hold everybody accountable, or anybody for that matter, because sometimes all you got to do is make an example. All you got to do is make an example of one dude, and everybody else falls in the line. That's in the Art of War with Sun Tzu. Somebody violate, consequences got to be swift and harsh.
The same with that movement.
Fall in line.
The same with that movement in Kenya. I won't call it by the word that we know it as, but I don't remember the other word that their native people use for it. You know, in Kenya,
right?
In the 60s.
But this is why hip hop has run them up, because
for sure,
robbed by these Europeans for millions of dollars, but then want to kill another dude if you make a diss track about it. See how that don't weigh out. Because if it's supposed to be all about the money, it's supposed to be about the resources, because the money is not the end goal for some people, but we know money is a tool. You're not going to go nowhere in this planet, whether here or Uganda, where money don't talk. I'm sorry to say, I'm not a capitalist. I'm more like a realist, because you're not even getting to Uganda. You're not even getting to Africa without no money. And then as soon as you get off the plane in Africa, you ain't budging without no money.
That's why one of my favorite hip hop songs ever was "Brother on the Run" by cont'd Rap, because he talked about killing some white folks.
Yeah,
I got a job with the mob selling keys.
I got a whole story about that and the remix. And when I heard the remix and everything, because the remix was originally for the group we was working with by Trap.
Wow.
Because I tell you, one day we'll just
gotta drop that on me. Yeah, you can't just drop that here. You gotta drop it on me.
I'm keeping 100 with you. Watch Doggy Diamonds on Drink Champs.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Watch that episode on Drink Champs, because he was in the industry. Of course, I was there too before he got in, but I was more the street dude.
Right.
The Wu-Tang, of course, Junior Mafias. Of course, the Foxy Browns and boot camps. Those are my peoples before music. Music.
Right. Remember them people up the hill, up in Brownsville?
Hear what I'm saying, right? Hear what I'm saying about grace and growth. Yes, because
sir.
In these streets, there was a code that we lived by. And when you don't abide by that code, you get dealt with. That's why I go any borough with my head held high. I did not change my name. My name has been Tad since I was born. Because I'm not hiding from nobody, never had to hide from nobody. And it's not like people ain't try to take me out of here. My point is I've been true to myself, and I've been part of multiple organizations, some African-centered, some street-centered. However, anytime you organize in a group of people, there has to be consequences, and the only way you're going to be effective is by enforcing those rules. And in this movement, we got codes. We know the Urugus ain't invited to the picnic. We know they can't come. We know this. We know we're supposed to greet brothers and sisters with respect and dignity. We're not supposed to rob and steal from one another. The reason why it happens, because there's no reinforcements. Nobody's getting their head bust. Nobody's getting ran down on. Dr. Sukiyana been collecting bread for over 10 years.
And let's not forget people taking the money and just being quiet about it, excusing bad behavior.
Yeah.
Excusing bad behavior.
People taking money on the table. Sucker Polite has been a pervert for as long as we knew. He was just a pimp with a dashiki and that silly kufi on. That's all he was. Anytime you parade your wife around and prove to be a coward, because when Brother Tazariak called his wife 304 to his face, he didn't do nothing. Now, I get Tazariak is a big dude, but that's what they make weapons for dudes you can't beat. That's what a weapon is for. But don't let nobody disrespect your wife and your child.
Hey, but brother Tad, you a true G. He got G check, and he didn't.
My wife no 304. And
I know, and that's the difference. That's what I'm saying. He got G check, and he ain't do nothing.
But the code.
People still follow him when he proved to be a coward. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Keisha.
Yep, because even when you bring them before people so people can see for themselves, they were still championing him. You understand what I'm saying? And like Brother Taz said, people have to be dealt with, and we can't be afraid to do that. Like when Tommy Sotomayor came uptown and he was talking reckless, he got dealt with. He didn't even get to the stage. He got dealt with, got that mouth rocked.
In Harlem,
you can't come in here talking about black women any kind of way you want to. Not here, you not. And them brothers uptown dealt with him righteously. And that's how it must be maintained from now on. Like Ashe did, pulled up and said, look, something ain't right here. You're going to have to account for something. But you got all these folks who are in that other cat's back pocket because he can spew some words. Let him slide with bad behavior.
Because bad behavior, well, let's just say this. Let's just be honest. Those other cats had done bad behavior, and the community has let them slide countlessly. So this bad behavior that we're discussing has been going on for the past eons, and no one is saying anything. The same way with our good mayor. People know his bad behavior, and no one in any camp wants to say he did this and he did that and he screwed this up for us. He screwed that up. Nobody wants to say that. They're all like, mum's the word. We ain't talking about it. We're gonna let the brother keep going. He's gonna give us a chance one day. One day we shall overcome. Fudge the one day. Your one day is right now.
Tell them, 2 weeks ago that he's cutting city municipality budgets. So he played y'all with the jab. Then you got played with your money. He played with your jab and the money.
Exactly. And let's just be honest. He's also giving out money. I'm not gonna knock that. He's also giving out money. But yet you did not knock. We'll talk about that. But you did not knock on any one of those people's doors and say, yo, there is an opportunity. Because of whatever, I can't be in direct proximity. But if you go through this process, you may have a chance. You don't open doors for people. People don't know that there's opportunities out there. And then you, who are supposed to be grassroots, and about the people and about your community, you don't tell your community about this first? Fudge you. And fudge everyone that still keeps their mouth quiet about your bad behavior, because all of y'all are cowards and you can't say anything else but, yes, I am a coward and I don't want to talk bad about someone that I grew up in the ranks with for whatever reason. Say that you are a coward. Own yourself in order for us to move forward. That's what I will own my shit. I did some shit out here. That's my shit. You want to bring it up? You want to talk about it? I could talk about it. I'm not afraid of my shit. I know my shit, but I'm not going to say I never shitted anywhere. I will never say that. And I'm sick and tired.
He said, this is the 5th cut. Blacks are silent. Facts. Let me, hold on. Brother Tad, we got to give Ray a happy birthday shout out.
Happy King Day to Big Brother Ray.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to
Shout out to the BK William Mackey History Club. They had Dr. Arthur Lewis last night. You can catch the replay on YouTube. Follow the BK William Mackey History Club. And for everybody in Jersey who logged on last night on the Zoom, shout out to y'all too. Kudos for coming through on the Zoom. All them people from Jersey. Shout out to y'all. Just wanted to throw that in there. Go ahead, sis.
Yeah, no, that's it. You know,
Hey,
stop being silent.
Own
your shit.
Checked.
Own your shit.
Here's a true story. A true story.
But I do want us to still.
When. Go ahead, Brother Tad.
No, because I don't want us to move too far away from the hip hop and the implications it has on these behaviors, how it's a major influence for a lot of people that come through. Because remember, he's the quote unquote hip hop man. Is he not? He's the one who was, when he was campaigning, going around getting with all of these rappers who sell death and destruction. And because I'm in agreement with Sister Marcia, you know, I mean, sometimes we got to call our people out. This is something me and my crew talk about all the time, because we do have counsel sometimes. And he'd be like, yo, son, what do you think about this? And if it do wrong, be like, son, you wildin'. That's our language to each other. Son, you wildin'. That's it. And then we tell them why. This is how you wrong. You don't see it like that because you got tunnel vision. But we're telling you, as brothers who got your back, who see your peripheral, you know what I'm saying, things you may be missing. Because sometimes we get so focused, get laser focused on something, we don't see the traps that's laid out. And sometimes, and that's all the trap is. It makes it seem like you got a good opportunity that you will pursue, but actually leads to your detriment. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, Brother Tad.
Say it again.
I said absolutely. And the thing is, once you had that private counsel with that brother and you've already laid out like, yo, this, that, and the third, after this point, you should never be afraid to get checked in the public.
Right.
You should never be afraid that if I turn around and I say, yada, 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 you can't say, oh, my brother, you shouldn't be blah, blah, blah. No, my friend.
You know what
we need to stop being afraid.
You know what our favorite saying is? When somebody do something and it don't work out, nobody told you to do that shit. That's what we say. Nobody told you to do that shit.
I want to like kind of stay on this topic, but take it somewhere else for a second. Right now, we living in a time called the Great Awakening.
Yes.
And we going from being the underdogs to the overbooked, meaning we ain't going to be able to do everything. We still going to eat well. And what's happening is on a spiritual level, and I speak on this personally as well as for us four individually. And if anybody disagrees, then I'm sorry. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it like this. If you know you've been doing the proper work that very few of us are doing, and you've been persecuted for it or punished or whatever the case may be, that pendulum is swinging the other way now, where you are going to get what you deserve because you maintain who you were regardless of what came at you. All of us have been through some crazy ass circumstances, and we still here. We still strong. We're not young, but we're not old, and we're still capable of doing whatever it is we need to do.
all of us here are accomplished in one way or another. And what's going to happen is we are going to be the people who shitted on us 20, 30, 10 years ago, and they going to have to, that's going to be their karma.
Absolutely, Brother Brad.
So just keep
I do have that.
Now I received
I do have that. I do have that faith in our ability to, we shall overcome, but it takes the work and it takes looking at us responsibly. Because if we can't look at ourselves responsibly, I can't look at my neighbor and I can't look at, 10 doors down. I have to start with myself, hold myself responsible and accountable, and then keep moving forward and G-checking people, doing the stuff that these brothers out here are doing in the name of community. And community has to get on code where, you can't have someone swindle you on an idea and not give back to you, because you're not going to collect that funds back. But come on, you have to do something. And if a G-checking is a G-checking and a slug is a slug, give the slug and give the slug to anyone that's like, oh no, he's just so great and blah, 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 blah. Because you're getting paid off of it? No, because you swindled the community too. So you're accepting it. You know that, I took $10 from Sister Marcia, Sister Keisha, Brother Black, Brother Tad, and what? What you gonna do about it? And then when we all come and say, hey, this is what you did, and people are not listening, and then at that, people continue to give them platforms. That's the problem. The problem is that they keep getting bigger and bigger platform on a pipe dream.
It's okay. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I'm going to tell you why. That flash hit, I don't care what you're thinking. You're going to be acting right. I don't care who don't like what I just said. That flash is coming. Y'all, solar flares is now regular news. I've been telling y'all this since 2-3 years ago. It's regular news now. It's on mainstream headlines everywhere now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think Sister Marcia sent me something last week on solar flares. I think she sent me something too.
Yep. They said the big one in April. Watch out now.
So when you think of the macro, you got to think of the micro too. That's micro. The point I'm making. It's happening on that level too. In ways that's not physically seeable.
Absolutely. Right. The universe is having a conversation. You are either listening to that conversation the universe is having, or you're not. And I promise you, the universe wants to have a personal conversation with each and every one of us. And each night, if you do the right things by night, you will listen and have that conversation and be aware of what your next steps need to be and how to move accordingly with grace and the opportunity to grow. And now, if you don't want to grow, brothers and sisters, stay out of our way, because right here, the four of us are on a growth mission. You are either growing or get to the back. Get to the back of the room and stay back there, because we don't need no disruptions in our personal lives, in our business lives, and in our nation lives. We don't need no disruptions. We need growth.
Marcia, check this out.
Yes, brother.
Even if they step in your way and try to stop you,
you slide.
A car or truck gonna drive off the street and hit the sidewalk and miss you, and they gone. They can't stop it. It's a force you can't see. This is why it's so dangerous. Absolutely. And if you feel it, you ain't worried about none of this shit we spoke about all night already.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. You know, time is running down. And so next week we're going to have to revisit the second part of our show and looking back in time to prepare for what's coming in 2024. Brother Black and Brother Tad, follow the assignment. I'm still waiting for the homework from Sister Marcia.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
Sister Marcia is a bad chick.
Hey,
Let me
Keisha.
tell you, I had Sister Keisha's sister. Wait, Brother Black. Give me a second. Sister Keisha, first off, how are you feeling, my sister? Are
I'm
you
feeling
better
a little
in
bit
health?
better, a lot better actually, because I can speak. Last week my throat was swollen.
Okay. So that's number one. Number two, please accept my sincere apology. I'm on an assignment right now that I needed to wrap up, and I carved out time to do this, but um, I ain't afraid to say it. My son has mental health issues, and he had a mental health issue this week, and I had to take consideration of that, and I
Oh,
apologize.
Jaquan, you want me to come over there?
Jaquan,
You want me and Tad
and
to come over
punch
there,
him,
Jaquan? That's what you want.
knock him out.
We
Well,
ain't
let me
gonna punch
stop.
him up. Jay's still my man. We ain't gonna beat him up.
No,
I have a
he
son
just
talking to.
he just
I
So
guess that's why
I
Marcia ain't
apologize.
friend me on Facebook. I've been on my new account for at least 6 months now. I ain't saying nothing else about
My guy, you say this every week. Promise you, I'm not even like I'm there, but I'm not there. And then when I'm there, I would have to search through people, and I just don't have the energy for it. I just have the energy to press send. Oh, look at this, Sister Keisha. Oh, look at this, so and so. Look at, and then I'm off. I really
You
don't
ain't
have
sending
time
me
to
none
be.
of that stuff though.
I'm
I send
sorry.
them stuff all the time.
I'm
You probably sending
I'm
my stuff.
sorry. I'm gonna listen.
I'm
Listen.
just messing with you. I love you,
2024.
sis. You know that.
2024. I'll get my
I gotta
act
wait 2
together.
more weeks.
All right,
Wow.
so you got another week for the homework assignment.
I
Since you gotta send
promise
me that.
you by Sunday. Sunday you'll have everything.
Oh,
Okay,
promise.
bet. You gotta send me that. So next week, because what we're
Yeah.
gonna do next week again, we're gonna go through the turnings, the 80-year turnings, and we're gonna look at where we were at these particular times from 1946 to 64, from 64 to 84, from 84 to 2008, and from 2008 going to 2028. We have to project our future. We keep looking for the right now. We want the right now. And that's the problem that gets a lot of us in business, in entertainment, in law. You always want the right now, and the right now gets you in trouble. Never think of
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Always think of the group. One of the things, I did a lot of bad things when I was younger, but I bet you one thing. Now, I got family members in the chat. I ain't never embarrassed my family. Y'all hear me? When I go to them family courts and all these courts, even if I did get in trouble, I would never bring my mama to a courtroom. That is so embarrassing
Mm.
and humiliating. But with them dudes or sisters you was out there in the streets, where them chicks at? Call them to come to court for you. Don't ring my numbers. Because I'm going to go click. I'm going to tell you right now, whoever you was out there hustling with or doing it, call them. I never wanted to bring no shame or embarrassment to my goddamn mother, to my
You want to know
family.
what my mother said to me?
Huh?
So once upon a time, I was doing business out here in these streets, and my mother said, "You doing business out here in these streets? I see you living a good life, and I thank you for paying the bills. But let me tell you one thing: the first day they call me and tell me your daughter this, best to believe your son is going straight to somewhere, but he ain't staying in this house. I'm not responsible for your shit, and the money you gave me did not go into an account as your savings. That's my Phrygian money." And I was like, "What?" I said, "What?" And I promise you, my mother said that to me on a Wednesday morning, Wednesday night. I said, "All right, let me sit down." Wednesday night, spot got raided, people got arrested, this, that, and the third. I said, "You are a seer. Let me sit down and change my life." I changed my life right there and then, despite the money was so great.
One of the most humiliating things, and even if you're not in relation to these people in the courtroom, but when I see a black man facing a judge and his mama sitting by him crying, that's so humiliating. Humiliating. Because even when you think about George Floyd and all these others, on a moment of death, they screaming out for mama. You got to hold into the bosom of what brought you life. But it's that same bosom today that everybody puts their goddamn foot, knee, and spit on. I would never humiliate my family in that way. Even when I got in trouble, I never called my mama. Never. I will figure it out myself. I remember sitting in a police station in Richmond, Virginia for 15 hours. I refused to call my mother. Stop humiliating the mother of civilization. Because I'm going to tell you something. And this Minister Louis Farrakhan tells this story of when he first got into the nation. And, he wanted to look good. He had a new suit, new pair of shoes, but his wife's shoes was a little leany. And it was Elijah Muhammad's wife who pulled him to the side and said, don't you ever let your wife come out of this house looking worse than you. Because if she's bad, the nation is bad. That automatically makes you bad. And we don't understand that. Every other ethnic group, no matter how degenerate his woman is, will never degrade her the way we do each other. And we wonder why we continue to suffer. If you cannot uplift the mother of us all, the one who carries the mitochondrial DNA that will give you a blueprint of every goddamn face on the planet, if she is on the crust of everybody's shoe, every nation will fall. Africa fell because its woman fell. Italy fell when its woman fell. China fell when its woman fell. Remember? I'm serious. All you got to do is just go through history. Black people around the world are on the bottom because your woman is on the bottom. Brothers, Brother Maddox used to hit the nail on the head with this one. He said, brothers, although you are the victims of racism and white supremacy, the target is the black woman.
Yeah.
Because now the backbone to culture, to a nation, to society in general is broken. The nation is falling. Look at this goddamn country. It's a goddamn disgrace. Look at all the Caribbean and South American countries. Your woman is on the crust of a foot. That's why you're on the crust. And we will never win. We will never win. There's a reason why they're coming for Jamie Foxx. There's a reason why they're coming. These people had these behaviors all along. Now why it's a problem? Look at the degenerate image of the black woman in these media spaces. Look at it. We just celebrated CMOTAP's 36th anniversary. Committee to eliminate media that is offensive to black people. Listen, if CMOTAP is ever needed, they need it now. You had a little boy, what's his name? James Tucker, crying because he see his mother dancing, twerking on some other blogger. James Tucker,
and she's laughing. And she's laughing.
I gotta say this. This brother has 1.2 million followers. He is a content creator. He's 10 years old. But something in him resonated when he saw his mother grinding on a man who wasn't his father. He ran over there and pushed his mother off of that man. And the man is saying, yo, it's me. You know me. He didn't care. His mother is the crux of another man's foot. You can't tell me you don't have that memory in you anymore? That this is bad? That a 10-year-old got more
sense.
fortitude
Cojones.
All of those grown men who were in that room, then his own mama.
He's a crystal child.
He's saying, even though the guy was saying, you know who I am, I don't care. That's my mother. And that's how everyone should be. As long as the black woman is on the crux of everybody's foot, all of y'all gonna catch hell. Every last one of you. And it's not just black people. All y'all gonna catch hell. Because the mother of civilization is in the gutter. And until she's lifted up, you won't continue to fail. So you can say that these women are lying, that they came out too late. Let me tell you something. From a person who is a survivor of sexual abuse, you can't tell a person when they should tell their story.
It's time to
tell what anyone says.
Ashe.
That's a serious hurt. Unless you go through a rape or sexual abuse, you don't know what the hell you talking about. Keep your goddamn mouths closed.
Ashe.
And everybody got too many opinions. I don't know what happened between these folks. But what I do know is automatically there is a behavior. This one trying to get money. This one is a liar. Sometimes you can't get justice. You have to go the civil route. You can't tell somebody, listen, if my daughter came to me, and my daughter is almost 30, if she came to me and said such and such raped her when she was 12, I'm going to see such and such. I don't care if she's 30 now. I don't care. We got to deal with that when it happened. Since she's telling me now, I'm going to deal with you. So family, I'm telling y'all, we got to get better in our understanding of who we are. Understand our own philosophy, our own ideology, and God damn it, have our own identity. We are the mothers and fathers of civilization. We say what's first, not everybody else. Stop being a bunch of goddamn followers, because as y'all becoming followers, y'all getting tripped up out here. Will Smith, you thought you was rocking with these dudes over here. You thought they was your buddies. That you could rock out with them, do the same things that they do, Jada. You thought you could have that same lifestyle, but it's coming back to bite you because your children can't stand your goddamn guts.
Sister Keisha, you hit on the last point. And before we move on, because I know we get ready to close out, I want to talk about the little boy and his mother, rape accusations, because I've seen it happen to a lot of good brothers. And some of them were close to home, allegations of rape, and it did not happen. And I think sometimes, because I got daughters, so less is more. You ain't even got to say nothing about that. However, promiscuous women, look what she did to that little boy. From her promiscuity, like he said, this is my mother. Sometimes people do only want the money, because sexual abuse, I tell people I committed many crimes. God forgive me. Rape ain't never been one of them. Ever. Tad robbed me? Yeah. Tad bust my head? Yeah. Tad put his foot in my ass? Yeah. Tad stole some cooch? Nope. We're not going to play with that. It's not on my jacket. Ain't never been close to it. No is no. But this culture that we're living in right now, where promiscuity is celebrated and promoted, look at what it done to this little boy, because a lot of times we talk about men, but these are not men who were raised by their fathers most of the time. Mm-hmm. Most of these men weren't raised by their dads, who had consequences for inappropriate behavior. I've seen women think it's cute when their children curse at people, act degenerate, act like they're in the strip club, act like they drug dealers. So we definitely have a fight on our hands, and we have to be mindful about who we support and who we don't support. Because I'm telling you, I've seen dudes get lied on by the Project Jump Off just because she was mad. And to your point, if it happened 10 years ago, 30 years ago, when it happens, it happened. My daughter tell me, somebody act like they wanted to touch my daughter. I did them filthy. I did them the way anybody 2 inches from breathing. I did them filthy. Everybody thought I was crazy. We're not going to play with my kids. He didn't touch her. He act like he wanted to touch her. So I get that part. And at the same token, when we talk about rape, specifically for black men, because we talk about our DNA, we talk about our memory, how many black men have been murdered about that lie? We know you say a black man raped you, you already guilty. You ain't even got to be in a state. So in this climate, we got to be very careful. We got to be. Because sure enough, me as a black man, imagine somebody just come, yo, Tad, yo, this happened to my cousin one time, my little cousin. Thank God for all the cameras everywhere. A white woman said she got raped on Clarkson and Putnam and then walked to Clarkson and Gates and got raped again.
Wow, I remember that. I remember that.
They locked my little cousin up. I went to court. That was
Wow.
the day my granddaughter was born. Because when I was at the court, he just got let go because the videotapes came and shown. No, he wasn't even around by that woman. He wasn't even here. He lived in Red Hook at the time. He wasn't even in the area at the time. But the videos came out, showed she was lying. And when we was in court, we was in Applebee's celebrating because it was scary. My cousin, his mother, is my cousin. She crying because nobody want their son to go to jail, especially for rape. Dudes don't play that. And while we was in Applebee's celebrating, little Tad called me like, I'm taking Tati to the hospital. She getting ready to have a baby. That's what I was doing when I found out my granddaughter's being born. But again, accusations, lies. And that one I'm only talking about because it was in the news, because there's ones that haven't been in the news. So we got to be mindful. We got to be mindful. Sure enough, as we talk about promiscuity in the community, imagine how rampant it is in the hip-hop arena. Groupies. Let's not act like groupies don't exist. Let's not act like they don't exist.
Big time.
If we mind,
and not just the hip hop community, in all communities
was essayed. It takes away from sisters who was, because now you can't take, you want to tread lightly with a serious situation. And that's why it's important that sisters hold these promiscuous women accountable, because jump offs like these 304s, women know who they not bringing their husbands around and stuff like that. Women know who they stand away from. And I'm not saying this right, because no is no, regardless of what. But at the same token, we got to start looking at people's characters or who are making these accusations. We have to, because that is
it's
serious.
The character, Brother Tad. You hit the nail on the head. You see, certain people have a character that you know for certain whoever could scream SA if they want to. But you know that's not this person's character. They lying. The community will say they lying. This person's a liar. Absolute liar. But then when you are in arenas where unsavory behavior is the norm, and not one person is saying it, but now 10 people are saying it. 10 different people. Oh yeah, you did it. You did it.
No, I hold those 10.
So,
hold those 10 people accountable too.
Exactly, especially if you knew he did it or she did it. Because you got women out here,
absolutely, because you were in the room.
Especially some of these teachers who out here abusing kids. These female teachers.
Yep.
People in the church. Females in the church. Raping. Listen.
Absolutely. You know.
So speaking of which, can I ask a question real quick?
Look. Hold on. The pedophile behavior that is going on, and not only pedophile, but just predatory. The culture of the way you approach either children or women is disgusting out here, because there is no one to say this cannot happen. You understand? And personal stories, I have them for days. I have them for weeks. I could write 10 books about predators that are around you each and every day, and people that you don't even think that are predators are predators. And this is one thing.
Experience, like growing up as a teenage girl.
Growing up,
ass men used to
every day.
Every day.
growing up as a 5-year-old girl, when men, grown men, 40 years old, 30-year-old and up, thought there was something interesting in a 5-year-old. And, I can say whatever I want to say about what my mother could have done or what people could have done. But at the end of the day, I hold those men accountable because you're 40 and you found interest in a 5-year-old. And I hold their wives accountable because they knew their husbands were bad hombres. And they never said anything. And the only person left with the damage is me, to figure out how to fix my broken pieces and think that I'm a situation. I'm a problem. I'm this and I'm that. And this is where, then when you grow up and you're 14 years old or you're 17 years old, you're put in situations you think that this is the norm. You think that this is what's acceptable because you were groomed from the age of 5. So I say all these people that are shouting out, something happened to me at this point, they need to reflect back on once the first time it happened to you, because it wasn't that as your first time. Your first time happened a long time ago, and that's why you thought that it was acceptable the next time. And now that you're grown up and you realize certain things were not right, you're saying something. Kudos to you. Say it loud, say it proud, whatever it is, do it. But at the end of the day, you have to understand where it started from in your behavior, because it didn't start when you were 17, and it didn't start when you had your first drink of what was his drink? Ciroc. Oh, Ciroc came in, and so we had all these bottles of Cirocs, and some of them was
one of the things that I want to say, just to be clear. And I think Sister Vanessa or Sister Aminatu mentioned it earlier. But a lot of these women are also the problem. You do not put yourselves in spaces that will, let me tell you something. Just like I said, if I'm to call my cousins and tell them some man attacked me, you know why they coming through full force? Because I wouldn't put myself in a position where I'm just in a space of men who could attack me. Do you understand my point? So these females putting them and their families who sell them. Because if you got a child in the industry, I'm sorry, Foxy Brown was 14. Where your damn parents at?
Aaliyah was 12.
You understand what I'm saying?
Aaliyah was 12.
These young girls, young girls, no matter if they're promiscuous or not, are 14 and 15. You promiscuous when you 14 and 15. So stop it. Just stop it. I don't care. If you're an adult and you find and you know for certain this is a 14-year-old girl or a 14-year-old boy and you still messing with them, then you're a predator and a pervert and you need to be dealt with.
Absolutely.
Now, if you don't know anything like that, or if it's two consenting adults, like Taz said, somebody might be a jump off and got in their feelings and they pissed off. Well, that's another reason why you should be very cautious of who you sleep with, because there's a lot of goddamn crazies out there.
That's right.
So either you want that, or you could be mindful. Wait a minute. There's some people who join us on this broadcast, and I see from their comments they batshit freaking crazy. And if I see you on the street, it's a high and by. If you try to hug me, I'm gonna snuff you. Don't. My family in the chat, they will tell you I don't play that touching stuff. If I don't know you, you cannot hug me to greet me. I don't rock with you. You might see me, I might say hello. I'm not your friend, I'm not your buddy. If you reach out to hug me, you're going to get jacked. Period. That's just me. Because I just don't like people touching me. Because again, people can pass on energies to you from touching you. I don't know you. So Brother Tad might be with somebody who knows of me. And when I see Tad, I'm gonna hug Tad. But the dude he with, you better not reach out to hug me because I don't know your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? We just got to be
Absolutely.
mindful. You can't be out here, brothers and sisters, because you want to get your freak on. You taking somebody home who ain't mentally stable. Now you can't get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now they stalking your kids. Now you're stalking
Mm-hmm.
your social media pages. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? You get caught up in these situations when you can read out the gate. Just look at people's eyes. People's eyes can tell you they batshit
Yep.
crazy. Let me tell you something. I have gone against my own instinct to my own detriment, especially working in this movement. A lot of people, because some people say, you know, they cool, they all right, yeah, I let them fly, and then turn out I should have stuck with my gut. The mother effer got
Your
crazy
gut was
eyes, or this
telling you
one give me a
something.
bad feeling. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You just
You
gotta
didn't
have
listen
that
to that
discernment to
intuition.
understand. Yeah, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
rocking with people like that. I don't, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
mean no ill will. It's just how I operate. I don't let people touch me. I don't want to touch you. You understand what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Do
Absolutely, sis.
who I know, and I'm sure all of y'all know in this movement at one time was sending me text messages, you know, about movement stuff, and then getting indignant when I didn't respond. Nigga, I don't sleep with you.
Nah,
I
I
owe
owe
you
you
no.
no
I'll get to you when I
response.
get to
That's
you. Now what?
absolutely,
You're not my man,
absolutely,
and I
and I'm glad
understand
you
absolutely.
that.
said that, sister,
You
because a
not
lot of
my man. You not my dad. Those are the only two. Don't ever in your life demand me to contact you. I can get to now. Now you're blocked because you're
That's
being
right.
stupid.
That's
And see,
right.
a lot of people fall for this stuff. I see it all the time. You can punch it. You can point out these conscious holes a mile away. These chicks, I'm telling you, you can point them out a mile away. And I'll be seeing dudes. I'll be like, oh, you be my next victim, dummy.
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I just smile. I just smile. You know, I miss Miss Ollie McLean. Peace be upon her. Because we used to sit in the corner and be cracking up at people on a regular. Like this is nuts. But I'm gonna step off my soapbox. We got to get up out of here. Brother Black, your last thoughts and comments. Let's close
Uh,
this out, y'all.
last thoughts and comments, y'all. Again, the book I wrote came out in 2014. So it predicted, it not predicted, but it foresaw a lot of the stuff that we see now. I knew celebrity gossip was gonna come back. I've been known for some time now that like the cosmos is doing is renewing, great awakening. I mean, however you want to phrase it, you got to see the difference between now and 2 years ago when we were in the midst of a COVID lockdown. Most of us forgot about that. Sister Keisha, a lot of people last week and 2 weeks ago was sick with something called white lung that moved from China into Europe and then over to America. And the first place that supposedly had it was Warren, Ohio, and some place in Massachusetts. I believe Holyoke, which is about 2-3 hours from New York City. So no stretch for somebody from there to giving it to somebody over there. If you believe that's how it's transmitted, it could be just, you know, the side effects of the COVID shots from 2 years ago culminating in everybody's body and either breaking down or building up. Stay respectful. Expect more celebrity gossip and all these things. I saw an article a few days ago about a guy talking about BBD, hip hop, backstage underage from Do Me Baby and a few other MC Light, Y'all Hood. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one or two other artists that supposedly made some underage, extreme lyrics. I wouldn't pay attention to that. I mean, back then it wasn't as big a deal as it is now because of the internet and so on and so forth. Hopefully these guys was doing girls that was overage, but it's going to continue happening until we over with this. That's all I'm going to say right now. Hey, look, I got the book already. I'm going to big that up because we in that time. I'm Elias Flavius on Facebook. My blog is melaninforever.blogspot.com. I love my panel. I love my people out there. Peace.
we love you, Black brother.
Well,
Sister
it's my turn.
Marcia, your last thoughts and comments.
Well, I just said it was my turn. Thank you so much, family. So, number one, thanks for making me put the fedora on. I am sweating. I am hot. I don't know how you people are doing it. It is just too much for me.
Open the
But
window.
any which way, open the window, dude. It's cold outside. I need the heat. Shoot. But either way, um, just say this. You know, as we're talking about predators in our community, I find that I have a sister friend who always tells me that I'm harsh on sisters. And I'll tell you this, I find women more culpable than men sometimes because you know who the person is that's in the bed next to you. And you never took time to protect someone small. I have a problem with a family member because her comment when she realized something was happening to me was what I'm looking for, I'm going to find, versus how can I protect you? How can I make you a better person tomorrow? And had she had given me some kindness, it would have been, I don't know if it would have been a better world for me, but I would have known that there was kindness out there. And because you knew your husband was a predator, you didn't protect me. And at the same time, I wasn't strong enough to protect someone else that he may have practiced his predatory behavior to. And so I hold myself accountable for not protecting other children. But from the moment that I realize I am also held accountable for my own actions, I make sure to have great conversation with young people on how to protect themselves and how to have a voice in their family when they feel like they don't have a voice. I beg of anyone who's listening to hear the children because they're telling you things that you're not listening to. Like that young boy did with his mother. He was telling her something that she wasn't listening to, and she laughed it off. And now there's a series of next videos where she's still playing him. And I hold this woman accountable because you're not listening to the mere fact that you are damaging and traumatizing your son by your illicit action because you're still searching for clout on your child. This is your child and you're searching for clout on him. Please, community, all I ask of us is to do better. Figure out a code for yourself, figure out a code for your community, figure out a code. Because, like we're saying, there is a code. Whether you know it or I know it, maybe it's not national news, but there needs to be a code, at least in your family, that everyone, three codes, start off with three, that everyone will hold themselves accountable to and have family meetings. That's important because the only way for the code um, to keep its success is for you to continually talk about it. And like my brother Tad likes to G check a person. You didn't live on code this week, so you got G checked. Let's do it. Let's hold ourselves better because 2024, 2000 and 2400, let's say that, all these years need to come into consideration because we are who we are looking for. And if we don't set the standards, no one else is. This poor alpha generation are looking for us to do something better. Thank you so much for listening to our words and our thoughts. May time manifest for us all because time is on our side. And Brother Tad, it's off to you. Thank you, Sister Keisha. Brother Black, I love y'all.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for rocking out with us. We went into a little overtime. That's because we missed y'all last week. But we definitely take all of this stuff serious. You know, there's the pros. Well, there is no pros. But, you know, there's two sides to every story, and we got to be mindful and practice a level of discernment. So we have to be aware that anybody that supports sexual degeneracy is helping bring our society to a demise, all right? whether it's your favorite artist, whether it's your favorite actress, whether it's your favorite politician, pushing this agenda in school and on our children. And Sister Marcia said, we have to keep our children safe. We have to. You can please get the book Culture Bandits. I know they run around with the word culture vulture, but Baba Dell Jones, the war correspondent, wrote the book called Culture Bandits. That's the correct term. And it prophesies pretty much of what we see today, all types of degeneracy to bring about our demise and support the ideas and thoughts of Black genocide through our culture, arts, and expression. All right? So hopefully you're inspired by something you heard here tonight. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, and stay true. And remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, it's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
Thank you, family. It's good to be Black with y'all for another week. I made it through without going into a coughing attack, but my lungs is feeling kind of tight right now. So I'm glad we coming to the end. And also, along with Culture Bandits, if you can get Dell Jones Sex Prisoners 1 to 3 to read about that, you get a clear understanding of what's happening now, give you clear vision. Next week, we're going to take a look back. I believe that may be our last broadcast for the year next week. So y'all be Black with us. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay mindful of your behaviors and people around you. Don't keep good people in your cipher. Shout out to my cousin Tashima. Today is her Earth Day.
Happy
Shout
Queen
out to
Day.
you, cuzzo.
Happy birthday.
Hey, Tashima, Sister Keisha got a new fedora for you.
She don't rock the fedora. She ain't gonna wear it. She ain't gonna wear it. She wear baseball caps. But again, family, y'all have a great rest of the week. And remember, as my brother Ashe would always say, true courage is knowing how to suffer. The battlefield is where you stand. Good night, family. We're out.